I'm crouched on the lid of the toilet in the first stall, knees pulled up so my sneakers don't show under the door. The downstairs boys' bathroom. Yeah. I know. Rule 8. But it was the only place I could be in after everything went to shit, and the third stall has been dead quiet so far. Thankfully. My name's Alex. I'm 17. 3 weeks ago my dad dragged us to Blackthorn for a cheap paper mill transfer. Small hill town, cheap rent. Good schools. Senior year was supposed to be simple. Keep my head down, graduate, get out. The first day of school actually felt normal. Almost refreshingly normal. I got my schedule, found my locker without too much trouble, sat through boring orientation speeches, and even managed to eat lunch without feeling like a total outsider. Kids were kids. Some were friendly, most ignored the new guy. By the end of the day I was thinking maybe this wouldn't be so bad. Maybe Blackthorn High was just another boring small-town school. I was wrong. Everything changed on the second day. Mr. Green locked the homeroom door, turned the key with a loud click, and handed every student a laminated card. Read it. Sign it. This is non-negotiable. The 8 rules. Everyone else signed like it was nothing. The 3 transfers, me, Ryan, and Quiet Gwen, shared one what the hell look, but we signed too. Easier than standing out on day 1. Here they are, exactly as printed. Rule 1. Always walk on the right side of the hallway before 8:05 a.m. and after 3:10 p.m. Rule 2. Never open a locker with a red mark on the handle. Rule 3. If you hear the morning bell ring twice quickly, sit down immediately wherever you are and stay silent for 30 seconds. Rule 4. The second floor drinking fountain near the library is for 1 student at a time only. Rule 5. Do not look directly at the security cameras for more than 10 seconds. Rule 6. If a teacher you don't know calls your name in the hallway, give your full name and student ID but do not go with them. Rule 7. Never lend anything to a student wearing the exact same clothes as the day before. Rule 8. The third stall in the downstairs boys' bathroom is always out of order. Do not enter. And if you hear any sound coming from inside, leave quickly. Ryan leaned over right after we signed and whispered, Dude, what the actual fuck is this? I glanced around to make sure no one was listening. Most kids were already stuffing the cards in their bags like it was normal. I don't know, man. Maybe it's some weird hazing thing for new students. Ryan shook his head, eyes wide. Hazing? They made us sign it. Mr. Green looked dead serious. Did you see Rule 8? Who writes shit like that about a bathroom stall? He lowered his voice even more. And Rule 2, red mark on the locker? My locker's right next to yours. What if one of them has a mark tomorrow? I tried to laugh it off but it came out shaky. Probably just some senior prank. We ignore the weird stuff and mind our business and graduate, right? Gwen, who was sitting behind us, suddenly spoke up without being asked. Her voice was barely above a whisper. My cousin went here 2 years ago. She said? She told me not to come. Begged me, actually. Said the rules aren't jokes. She broke them, and she wouldn't even tell me what happened. She would always get this doomed expression on her face whenever we talked about high school. Like her mind went somewhere else. Her eyes would glaze over and she'd stop talking mid-sentence. Sometimes she'd shake. She dropped out after junior year and moved across the country just to get away from this town. She still has nightmares. Ryan and I both turned to look at her. She was pale, fingers twisting the corner of the laminated card. Ryan swallowed hard. You're messing with us, right? Gwen just stared at her desk. I wish I was. Just don't break any. Especially not the ones that sound stupid. The stupid ones are usually the worst. The bell rang right then, one long, normal ring. But the feeling stayed with me as I headed into the hallway. I couldn't shake the sense that Ryan and Gwen were both watching me, like they already knew I was going to be the first one to fuck up. And I proved them right almost immediately. I turned around in the curved east wing hallway. The corridors in this building don't make sense. They bend at wrong-looking angles. By the time I found my locker, the halls were already giving a weird feel. Locker 247. There it was, a thin red slash across the metal handle, still slightly glossy, like it had been drawn only minutes earlier. I stood there staring at it, remembering Rule 2 in big bold letters on that laminated card. For a second I almost walked away. Then I told myself it was just some asshole senior's welcome prank on the new kid. I'd look weak if I let it scare me on day 1. So I grabbed the handle, twisted, and yanked it open. My gym bag was sitting right where I'd left it that morning. Nothing obviously moved. But the strap, the one I carry over my shoulder every day, was damp. Not wet from rain or a spilled bottle. Warm. Heavy. When I picked it up, a thin string of the liquid stretched between the bag and the bottom of the locker before breaking. It smelled metallic and faintly sweet. Like fresh spit. Or worse. I slammed the door so hard the whole row rattled, wiped my hand on my jeans, and walked away fast, pretending I didn't feel disgusted. Lunch was worse. I was sitting alone near the back when this kid Marcus dropped his tray across from me. Same black hoodie as yesterday, same faded gray t-shirt underneath with the small hole near the collar, same ripped jeans with the tear on the left knee, same crusty scab on his lower lip. Everything identical. He didn't say hi. Just stared at me for a few seconds too long before asking if he could borrow my notes from Greer's class, said he. Missed the rules lecture. His voice was flat, almost bore. Later, between classes, I met Ryan near the vending machines. He looked tense. You look like shit, he said. What happened? I told him about the red mark and the damp strap. Ryan's face went pale. Alex, Rule 2, man. You broke it? And you're sure the strap was warm? Yeah. Felt like body temperature. I'm trying not to think about it. Ryan rubbed his face. This school is fucked. Gwen's cousin's story is messing with my head. I saw one kid walking on the left side earlier, and he just disappeared around the corner. Like the hallway swallowed him. I'm sticking to the right side religiously from now on. We both laughed nervously, but it wasn't funny. I also saw that Marcus kid again. I added. Same scab, different clothes. He was smiling at me. Ryan grabbed my arm. Rule 7. You didn't lend him anything, did you? I didn't answer. Ryan cursed under his breath. We're all gonna die here, bro. After that I was walking down the hallway sort of tensed when I saw Marcus again in the hallway. Brand new clothes, crisp black hoodie, clean jeans, no rip. But the same scab on his lip, slightly oozing now. Same posture. Same exact walk. He turned his head smoothly, too smoothly, and looked straight at me from 20 feet away. His lips moved. He mouthed something slow and deliberate. I couldn't hear it, but I'm almost sure it was my full name. Then he smiled that same wide, broken smile and kept walking like nothing happened. I was still rattled from Marcus and needed a second to breathe, so I stopped near the end of the long hallway and leaned against the cold tile wall, trying to steady my nerves. That's when I noticed one of the security cameras mounted high in the corner, angled down directly at me. Its little red recording light was glowing steadily. Without thinking, I lifted my head and stared straight into the lens, like I was trying to challenge it, trying to see if it was actually watching me or if it was just dead glass. 10 seconds. 15. 20. I remembered the rule. Rule 5: don't stare at the camera for more than 10 seconds. Oh shit, I said to myself. I couldn't look away. It felt like the camera was staring back, really staring, not just recording. The longer I looked, the heavier the air got, like the whole hallway had gone quiet just to watch me break the rule. My eyes started burning, but I kept staring, almost hypnotized. It was as if something on the other side of that lens was studying my face, memorizing it. When I finally forced myself to look down, my eyes were watering badly, like I'd been staring into a blinding light. The skin on the back of my neck prickled. I swear the red dot on the camera blinked twice, almost deliberately, like it was acknowledging me. Like it was saying, I saw that, Alex. I wiped my eyes and walked away fast, but the feeling followed me. Like I just painted a target on my back that the entire school could now see. I was hurrying down the main staircase when a man in a gray suit called my name from the landing below. Alex Harper? He looked like a teacher, button-up shirt, lanyard with an ID badge, clipboard in hand, but I'd never seen him before. Something about his face felt off. Too smooth. Like it didn't move right when he spoke. I stopped on the stairs, heart hammering. The rule flashed in my head. Give your full name and student ID, but do not go with them. Yeah. Alexander Harper. Student ID 47291. I said quickly, keeping my feet planted. He smiled politely and gestured for me to follow. Good. We need you in the office for a quick transfer form. It'll only take a minute. I knew I shouldn't move. My legs felt heavy, like the floor was pulling me toward him. He waited, still smiling, head tilting slightly too far. The hallway behind him seemed darker than it should have been. For a second I almost took a step forward. I was scared of causing a scene, scared he'd know I'd already broken the other rules. But something in his eyes made my stomach drop. I stayed exactly where I was. "Sorry, I have to get to class," I muttered, then turned and practically sprinted up the stairs in the opposite direction. I heard him call my name again, softer this time, almost disappointed. I didn't look back. Now I'd broken 3 rules. 3. I managed to dodge the 4th, but it feels like the school noticed. And the day isn't even over yet. Ch3. I was still hurrying up the stairs after dodging the man in the gray suit. My heart was beating fast, but I tried to walk normally so I wouldn't draw more attention. The hallway on the 2nd floor was mostly empty now. Class had started a few minutes ago. I kept close to the right side of the corridor like Rule 1 said. That was when I saw Marcus again. He was standing near the drinking fountain at the end of the hall, the one on the 2nd floor near the library. The one Rule 4 said was for one student at a time. He wasn't drinking. He was just standing there, facing my direction. He had changed clothes again. This time he wore a plain gray sweatshirt and dark jeans. No rips, no scabs, no marks on his face. He looked clean and ordinary, except for the way he watched me. I slowed down. There was no easy way around him without crossing to the left side of the hallway, and I didn't want to risk that. I stopped about 15 feet away. Marcus started walking toward me. His steps were steady and unhurried. When he got closer, he raised one hand in a small wave, like we were friends. "Alex," he said. His voice was flat. "You left your notebook in my bag. I wanted to return it." I had given it to him at lunch. I knew this was another rule broken, but I didn't know what to say. "I don't need it back," I told him. "I have to get to class." He stopped right in front of me. Up close, his eyes looked tired but focused. "You broke some rules today," he said quietly. It wasn't a question. "I can tell. The school can tell too." I glanced around. No teachers. No other students in sight. "I need to go." Marcus put his hand on my shoulder. His fingers were cold. The moment he touched me, the heavy feeling returned to my legs. I tried to yank my arm free from Marcus's grip, but my legs gave out almost immediately. They felt heavy and loose, like the muscles had gone soft. I stumbled but didn't fall. Marcus just tightened his hold on my shoulder and kept walking. The man in the gray suit came from the other side, clipboard tucked under his arm. Neither of them said much. They didn't need to. We moved down the hallway at a normal pace. Students stepped aside without looking at us directly. A couple of them glanced my way for half a second, then quickly faced forward again. No one asked what was happening. No one tried to help. It was like this was just another ordinary thing that happened at Blackthorn High. My mind kept replaying the rules I had broken. Rule 2 with the red mark on the locker. Rule 7 with lending my notebook to Marcus. Rule 5 was staring at the camera too long. And almost Rule 6 on the stairs. 4 out of 8. That seemed like too many. Marcus's hand felt cold through my shirt. His fingers pressed in just enough to keep me moving. I tried to speak, but my voice came out scratchy. "Where are you taking me?" "The bathroom," the gray-suited man answered. His tone was calm and matter-of-fact, like he was giving directions to the office. "Third stall." I already knew that. Rule 8 had been clear from the first day. The third stall in the downstairs boys' bathroom was always out of order. Do not enter. And if you hear any sound coming from inside, leave quickly. Now they were putting me inside it. We reached the staircase. Each step down made my legs feel heavier. The warm, damp feeling I'd noticed earlier in my gym bag was spreading through my calves now. It wasn't painful, just wrong. Like something had settled in under the skin. I held onto the railing, but the gray-suited man gently moved my hand away. "Keep moving, Alexander Harper," he said. He used my full name the way the rule described. At the bottom of the stairs, the hallway curved left toward the main area and right toward the bathrooms. They steered me right. The boys' bathroom door was already propped open with a black doorstop. I didn't remember seeing that earlier. Marcus pushed the door wider, and we stepped inside. The air was cooler and smelled like old cleaner mixed with something sharper. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead. One of them flickered once, then stayed steady. There were 4 stalls in a row. The first 2 doors were open. The third one was closed. A small handwritten sign taped to it read, "Out of order," in black marker. The ink looked fresh. Marcus stopped me right in front of it. He let go of my shoulder for the first time. I thought about running, but my legs still wouldn't cooperate properly. They felt distant, like they belonged to someone else. "Open it," Marcus said. I reached out slowly and pulled the stall door. It swung open without a sound. The toilet lid was already closed. The walls inside had faint marks and scratches. Names were written in small letters near the top, some faded, some clearer. I saw a few I recognized from around school. Near the bottom, in newer-looking ink, was a space that looked empty. I stood there for a few seconds. The gray-suited man waited patiently behind me. "Step inside," he said. I didn't want to. Every part of me knew this was wrong. But my feet moved anyway. I stepped over the threshold onto the tile floor. It felt slightly sticky under my sneakers. I turned around and lowered myself onto the closed toilet lid. The porcelain was cold through my jeans. Marcus watched me. His face didn't change much. The scab on his lip had completely healed since lunch. The skin there looked too smooth now. "Pull your knees up," he told me. I hesitated. Then I did it. I brought my knees to my chest and wrapped my arms around them, tucking my sneakers tight so nothing showed under the bottom of the door. It felt automatic, like I had done it 100 times before, even though this was the first. Marcus nodded once. "Good. Rule 8. He reached out and pulled the stall door shut. The latch clicked softly into place. I heard his shoes and the gray-suited man's shoes walk away across the bathroom floor. The main door opened, then closed with a heavy thud. After that, everything went quiet. I sat there, knees pulled up, back pressed against the cold partition wall. The stall wasn't big. My shoulders almost touched both sides. I could see the faint writing on the walls more clearly now. Dozens of names. Some repeated. A few had dates next to them. One name had today's date. The air felt still. Too still. I could hear my own breathing. After a minute or two, I pulled my phone out of my pocket. The screen turned on, but there was no signal. The messages I had tried to send earlier still showed as not delivered. I typed another one to Ryan anyway. "Bathroom third stall, they put me here." It didn't send. I put the phone away and listened. At first there was nothing. Then I heard a faint drip from one of the sinks outside the stall. Regular. Steady. After a while, I noticed another sound, a low shifting behind the tiles to my left. It moved slowly along the partition, then stopped near my shoulder. I stayed completely still. My mind went back over the day. The red mark on the locker handle. The warm, heavy dampness on my gym bag strap and the way it smelled. How Marcus had taken my notebook and smiled too wide. Staring into that security camera until my eyes burned. The man in the gray suit on the stairs calling my name. Each mistake felt small when it happened. Now they added up. I wondered what Ryan and Gwen were doing. If they had seen me being walked down the hall. If they would try to look for me. Part of me hoped they wouldn't. The rules were clear, and I had already broken too many. Dragging them into this wouldn't help. The lights in the bathroom stayed on. No one else came in. No doors opened or closed. It was like the rest of the school had moved on without me. I checked the time on my phone. Last bell was still more than half an hour away. I didn't know what would happen when it rang. I rested my chin on my knees and kept my sneakers hidden. The stall felt smaller now. The walls closer. I didn't try to open the door. Something told me it wouldn't matter if I did. This was where I was supposed to be now.